Long before his tomb was discovered, King Tutankhamun was a figure shrouded in mystery. Ascending to the throne at the tender age of 9, Tutankhamun's reign was marked by attempts to restore order in a country that had been thrown into chaos by his predecessor, Akhenaten. The boy king's reign was brief, lasting only about a decade, and his untimely death at around 19 years old left many questions unanswered. Ancient Egypt was a land deeply entrenched in religion and the belief in the afterlife. The construction of tombs for the pharaohs was not just an architectural feat, but a spiritual endeavor. King Tutankhamun's tomb, though modest compared to the grander resting places of other pharaohs, was packed with treasures and artifacts meant to aid him in the world beyond. Little did anyone know, this tomb would become the epicenter of one of history's most infamous curses. On November 4th, 1922, after years of fruitless searching, Howard Carter and his team finally discovered the entrance to King Tutankhamun's tomb. Carter described the moment he first peered inside the tomb as one of awe and wonder. Everywhere the glint of gold, he famously remarked when asked what he saw. The tomb was remarkably well preserved, having escaped the looting that had befallen many other burial sites in the region. As Carter and his team carefully cataloged and removed the treasures from the tomb, the world was captivated by the opulence and mystery of ancient Egypt. However, what should have been a time of celebration and discovery soon turned dark as the supposed curse of the pharaohs began to take its toll. Just months after the tomb's discovery, the expedition's sponsor, Lord Carnarvon, fell gravely ill. While in Cairo, Carnarvon was bitten by a mosquito and the bite became infected. He developed blood poisoning, which quickly led to pneumonia. On April 5th, 1923, Carnarvon died, and with his death came the first whispers of the curse. The circumstances surrounding his death were eerie. At the exact moment of his passing, all the lights in Cairo mysteriously went out. His dog, back in England, was reported to have howled and died simultaneously. Some claimed that this was the pharaoh's revenge for the desecration of his tomb, while others believed it was a mere coincidence. Nonetheless, the story of the curse began to take on a life of its own, fueled by sensational media reports. Lord Carnarvon's death was only the beginning. Over the next few years, a series of untimely and unusual deaths among those connected to the tomb's discovery further cemented the idea of a curse. One of the next victims was George J. Gould, a wealthy American financier and a close friend of Carnarvon, who visited the tomb shortly after its discovery. Upon his return to England, Gould developed a high fever and died shortly thereafter. His death added to the growing list of those believed to have fallen victim to the pharaoh's wrath. Arthur Mace, a member of Carter's team, also succumbed to the so-called curse. Mace had played a significant role in opening the tomb, and his health began to deteriorate shortly after the discovery. Upon his return to England, Gould developed a high fever and died shortly thereafter. His death added to the growing list of those believed to have fallen victim to the pharaoh's wrath. Arthur Mace, a member of Carter's team, also succumbed to the so-called curse. Mace had played a significant role in opening the tomb, and his health began to deteriorate shortly after the discovery. He suffered from chronic fatigue and mysterious illnesses, leading to his death in 1928. His passing was yet another in a string of tragedies that seemed to plague those who had dared to disturb Tutankhamun's rest. Hugh Evelyn White, a British archaeologist who visited the tomb, was so convinced of the curse that he allegedly wrote, "I have succumbed to a curse which forces me to disappear," before taking his own life in 1924. The mounting deaths and eerie occurrences fed into the fear that something beyond human understanding was at work. While many were quick to attribute these deaths to a supernatural curse, others sought a more rational explanation. Some scientists suggested that the tomb, sealed for over 3,000 years, might have contained deadly mold or bacteria. Aspergillus, a type of mold that can cause severe respiratory issues, was found in several ancient tombs. This led some to theorize that this could have contributed to the deaths. However, this theory did little to quell the fears of a public fascinated by the idea of an ancient curse. Another theory posited that the curse was more psychological than physical. The intense stress and fear of being cursed could have weakened the immune systems of those who believed in it, making them more susceptible to illness and accidents. Despite these scientific explanations, the legend of the curse continued to grow. Despite the numerous deaths surrounding the tomb's discovery, Howard Carter, the man who had uncovered the tomb, lived for another 17 years. However, his life was far from peaceful. Carter faced relentless criticism and accusations from those who believed he had unleashed a curse upon the world. In the years following the discovery, Carter became increasingly reclusive. He never married and spent much of his later life alone, haunted by the controversies and the deaths of those around him. Although he publicly dismissed the idea of a curse, it is said that he remained deeply troubled by the events that followed the tomb's opening. In 1939, Carter died of lymphoma at the age of 64. His death marked the end of an era, but the legend of the curse lived on, continuing to captivate and terrify generations. The story of the curse of King Tutankhamun's tomb remains one of the most enduring and chilling tales in history. It serves as a reminder of the power of ancient beliefs and the mysteries that still surround the civilizations of the past. While the scientific community largely dismisses the idea of a curse, the deaths and strange occurrences following the tomb's discovery continue to be a source of intrigue and fear. Over the decades, the curse has been referenced in countless books, movies, and television shows, solidifying its place in popular culture. The notion of a curse that transcends time, capable of reaching out from the depths of history to affect the living, is a concept that continues to resonate with audiences worldwide.